Hey, so I'm going to go through quiz 4. It's not the case that everyone's taken it so far. In fact, only 13 people have, but I have a spare moment and I can record the video. Anyway, so far the average is 95, which is fantastic, right? It's probably because it's significantly easier than the practices that I asked you to do. Right? I hope you did the practice. It's important that you understand it. I didn't want to put that into the quiz, right? Because it's really hard, right? But in the future, I'm not going to be so lenient. Anyway, let's talk about the quiz. So I have to find it. Okay, here it is. So the first one, this is very easy for everyone to get, right? How is the following correctly symbolized? It turns out only one of them came through, right? The other one came through as LaTeX bullet S. So anyway, you should have chosen tilde S, right? Tilde means it's not the case that, or it's not, it negates what comes after it. Snowing, I guess, is just going, or it's snowing is symbolized with the S, so tilde S is the correct answer. Here's the next one. How is the following correctly symbolized? Either it's snowing or it's raining. Well, it has an either or, so you know that you need a wedge, right? So you can rule out A, right, which has a tilde. You can rule out D, right, which has a horseshoe. And you can rule out B because it's not well formed, right? B is just S dot, right? Dot has two slots, right? So we need another sentence letter to put on the other side of the slot, or put in the other slot for the dot. So that leaves C, right? S or R, right? S wedge R, right? So C was the correct answer. So far everyone's gotten it, so that's good. How's the following correctly symbolized? If it's cold, then you will wear a coat. A is not well formed, right? That's C tilde W in parentheses, right? Not well formed. Second one, not well formed. Again, we have a dot, but there's nothing in the second slot. We have C, right, which is C wedge W, so that's either or, right? So since our sentence is if then, right, it's not going to be C, so that just leaves D. Right? And so far, everyone's gotten that right, which is excellent. Here's our next one. How is the following correctly symbolized? Either you won't pass or you will get an A. Right, so the answer here is A, tilde P, wedge A, right? You can rule out B, again, not well formed. You can rule out D because it's an if-then, right? In our original sentence is an either-or. But now there's this question, do you choose A or C? Well, think about the placement of the not relative to the either-or, right? If we had, it's not the case that either you pass or you'll get an A, right, then we would have chosen C, right, because the not then would be outside of the either or, would be like ranging over it. But as it is, we have either you won't pass or you'll get an A. The first disjunction, or disjunct rather, is you won't pass, which is the negated form of you will pass, right? So tilde P, wedge A is the correct answer, or A. Here's the next one. Which answer is this an instance of? A, horseshoe, left parentheses, B, wedge, C, right parentheses. So here are your options. Either it's the case that if Annie wins, then Ben runs, or Cindy sings, right? No answer text provided, no answer text provided. Damn, so I moved these over from when I've done this course before, and it seems like there's some sort of issue with importing, which is strange, but it makes it a little bit easier for you on this one, right? Because you now only have two things to choose from. Right, so it's either the case that if Annie wins, then Ben runs or Cindy sings, or if Annie wins, then either Ben runs or Cindy sings. Good. So what you should have done here is realize that it's an if-then, right? So it's going to have, there's a horseshoe here, so it's going to be if-then. Right, whatever corresponds to A is going to be on the left-hand side of the horseshoe. Right, that is, it's going to be in the if portion of the if-then. Right, so here we have if Annie wins, then either Ben runs or Cindy sings. Right, so that would be the correct answer. Here's one that's a little bit harder. Symbolize the following: either Pablo Picasso or Salvador Dali ignored perspective, but it's not the case that both of them did. So your choice is A or B. So far everyone's chosen the correct one, which is A. Here's the sort of hint. Note that it has either or, right? And then the but, right? Which is and, right? So what's happening here is that at least one of these sides of the and, right, is going to be an either-or statement, right, and the other one is going to be what? It's not the case that both of them did, right, so note there where the placement of the not is relative to that both of them did, right, it's outside of it, right, so we know that we're going to have our tilde outside of P and S. Okay. So now the question is just, well, what's the difference between A and B? Well, the difference is that the main operator in A is a dot, and it's a wedge in B, right? So what is it that we want here? Well, but, that's and, dot, right? So A. Okay. We will go to the picnic if and only if it's not raining and it's warm, where A is we'll go to the picnic, B is it's raining, and C is it's warm. So which one should we choose? Here I have B as the correct answer, right? So we're told that we're going to go to the picnic just in case some other stuff happens, right? Presumably it's not raining and it's warm goes together, right? So the correct answer is B. So A, triple bar, left parentheses, not B, dot C, right parentheses. Okay. And one thing to keep in mind here is that C is exactly the same as B, except for the presence of the parentheses. You need the parentheses, right? Otherwise, it's ambiguous. Okay. Good, and we can rule A out, right, because there's no tilde, right? And note that it's not raining should have a tilde in front of B, right, to capture the not. Okay. Now a little bit of review, right? True or false in biconditionals, the main operator is a triple bar. That's true, right? Think back to the truth tables that we've had and what we call these statements that have the triple bar in them. They're biconditionals. Here we go. Implies is correctly symbolized with the horseshoe symbol. That's true. And P, provided that Q is correctly symbolized as Q, horseshoe P. Okay, so this is the one where so far we have the highest discrimination index. Right, so how you did on this one very strongly correlates with how well you did overall. Right, so the discrimination index here is 0.72. 69% of you answered this correctly. That is 9 out of 4 of you, or 9 out of 13 of you so far. And the answer is true. Right, so think about the meaning of provided that in English. If you say to your child, you can go play with your friends provided that you've cleaned your room, right? Are you saying that if they go play with their friends, then they've cleaned their room? Or are you saying that if they clean their room, then they can go play with their friends? Well, surely the latter, right? The second one. So the order of P and Q, and P provided that Q switches, right, when you symbolize it. So Q came last in the English sentence, it comes first in the symbolization. It's the antecedent of the conditional. And P came first, well now it comes second in the symbolization, it's the consequent. Okay, so far, really, really good, right? 95% average score. Cool. So that's that. Let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, the following weeks are going to get harder. Things will get harder again for at least 2 weeks, right? And then we're going to sort of pull back on the reins and do some stuff that's, I think, easier and different. So, yeah, anyway, hope you had a good weekend. Hope you did well on the quiz. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me. I check my email all the time, and I get back to you as fast as I can. So anyway, see ya. Have a good week. Enjoy the weather. See ya.